Hello, gamers, geeks, and freaks. Matt Lemke here I'm going to say Mr. Acevedo because I just blanked on his first name. It's Aaron.
Fair.
And Janine Acevedo.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. I totally forgot.
I'm Janine. Hi.
We're at Con on the Cob, and this is a Through Gamer Goggles production. I just made that up because I totally botched my intro. And we're going to talk about Aaron's history a little bit, and we're going to move into some of his highlights, and then we're going to move into what he's currently working on, which is a whole bunch of Savage Mojo stuff. And others, right?
Yep.
And others. And you're
Savage
actually
Worlds.
Your real life job is a geek job, sort of, right? It's Pinnacle.
Yep, art director for Pinnacle Entertainment.
That's got to be interesting. But
Yeah,
anyway,
it's a lot of fun.
How long have you been in the industry?
I started in 1999.
Well, that's a while.
Yep.
And you started with cards, right?
Well,
Primarily, or
I started as a writer, actually. Actually, go back a little bit further than that. I started as an intern. I got out of the Navy, and I had a few months to decide what I wanted to do.
And, you can look at the camera.
Okay.
Your voice is soft. The microphone's right there, though, so it should be okay.
Okay. I started as an intern at Obsidian Studios, and eventually tried all the jobs they had. I just wanted to work in games really bad, so I tried editing, I tried writing, I tried cartography, I tried layout, I tried everything. So I ended up being, really helpful to the studio, and eventually got hired on. So I went straight from the Navy to a game industry job. I worked there until the company was sold, and they moved to California, and I decided, well, I don't really want to move my family to California, so I went freelance at that point. So it was about 2001, I think. 2001.
And how long did you stay freelance?
I've been freelance ever since.
Okay, then when did Pinnacle pick you up as their director?
Well, I worked freelance for Pinnacle for many, many years, on and off, and then, dozens of other companies. And the beginning of this year, I started, working at Pinnacle doing all the art direction.
And, okay, there's a lot of companies out there, and Pinnacle is a role-playing game company, correct?
Right. They do role-playing games. They've done card games. They do a bunch of stuff, but primarily role-playing games. Savage Worlds, Deadlands.
I'm trying to place some of these faces. At Gen Con, they were in the conglomerate of RPG booths with Cubicle 7, right?
They're in with Studio 2. That's
what I meant. Yeah.
Yep.
And actually, Cubicle 7 was in with Studio 2, I believe. They were in one of those booths.
Yeah, I think they were all kind of back to back.
Yeah, they were all back to back.
Right.
And, yeah. So, okay, now I'm kind of placing everybody else.
Yeah.
Okay, and so what's it like being an art director?
It's great. I get to work with really talented folks every day, all day.
But what's the pressure like of, I don't want to do this because of this? Or is it not quite that complicated?
There's not a lot of pressure as far as doing things I don't want to do or anything like that. Or, it's more, there's so much work to do and getting it done on time. That's the big, if there was a big pressure, that would be it.
I would think the pressure is, if I put the wrong piece of art in here, I'm going to ruin the universe.
I'm confident, so I guess I don't worry about that one. I got talented people, so they're really superstars. So makes my job look easy.
So up to that point, what have some of your highlights been?
Deadlands Reloaded did the graphic design and layout on that, and we won an Origins Award. And
what year was that?
Handful of years ago. I can't remember.
Yeah,
which year that one was a while back. And then we also won Savage Mojo, my other company that I art direct for, won any award, not this year, but the year before.
2011.
For Best Electronic Book, which was Shanghai Vampocalypse, which is our, it's a mouthful. It is just like a lot of Savage Worlds settings. It's a mashup of settings, and it's cyberpunk meets ancient martial arts kung fu. So it'd be kind of like Blade Runner meets Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon as a mashup. Yeah, exactly. It's pretty crazy.
I like that.
And with the whole book takes place in 12 hours. It's basically a countdown to apocalypse. There's a army of vampires, 8 million vampires, descending on one city, Shanghai, and they're trying to activate a nuclear bomb to black out the sun. And your party is set to stop them. And the whole book takes place in 12 hours.
See, I actually haven't played any of the Savage World stuff yet, and I really need to.
There's a lot of great settings for it.
There's so much.
So much wonderful, excellent stuff.
There is so much.
And there's a whole lot of genre mashups, so you get really interesting stuff.
Yes. And Savage Worlds is a D20 system, if I understand it correctly.
Savage World is its own rule system. It uses a variety of dice, exploding dice, so they open end. So you roll, like, say, you roll a 6, you get a 6, it blows up, you roll another one, and keep rolling until you don't open end. But yeah, it's a really cool system.
I could really hurt some people.
And it's really fast. It's fast. There's not a lot of bookkeeping. It's real easy prep. You know, Savage Worlds friends tend to be a little older and don't have a lot of time for prep, and so we kind of eliminated as much of the crunch as possible. I mean, it's still got its crunchy bits, but it's really fast and smooth and easy to play.
Okay. Which brings us to where you're at right now. You have a Kickstarter that will end tomorrow, correct?
Right. I think we have just over 24 hours left. It's called Dungeon Lands. It's a old school killer dungeon in the vein of like Tomb of Horrors or Undermountain or one of those classics, but for a modern rule system, Savage World, and we're also doing a Pathfinder version, and it's written by John Wick, if you remember 7th Sea or Legend of Five Rings or House of the Blooded. He's just great, and so he puts a nice twist on the classic style.
And what is one of your highlights about the stuff in the Kickstarter? I mean,
Well,
they're going to see this after the fact, sadly.
right, true.
But
one of my favorite things is we provide tile maps for the entire dungeon. Every inch of the dungeon has tile maps. Alita Saxon, who is one of Savage Mojo's lead artists, she's been with us from the beginning, about 5 years now, and she did some gorgeous maps. The first level of the dungeon is an island that you arrive on, and she detailed every bit of it in 9 full-size poster maps. They're 24 by 32 inches each, and there's 9 of them, so it's just a massive spread. So,
that's a lot of maps.
Yeah. Well, and that's just the top level, and it goes down 4 more. So the next one is a classic, stone, old school dungeon, and we provide 48 pages of tile maps for that, which it's a construction kit. So it's not just one layout of a dungeon; it's any layout you ever want to make. So you mix and match it. And one of the cool little bits about Dungeon Lands is the tomb resets itself every hour. So while your players are maneuvering through it,
I've always wanted to do that.
It resets. Like if you've seen the movie Dark City, where the city rearranges itself around people, that's what happens in the Dungeon Lands.
I have always wanted to do that. I can never figure out how to make the mechanic work. But I stopped working on it when I was 17. So
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That was always a dream of mine. I'm like, well, how do you do it? Make it work? Do you actually put everything on tiles and move them around? I'm like, that's just too much work. I was lazy back then.
Yeah,
we're all lazy.
We made all kinds of different connector pieces and stuff. So whatever room the players are in, it remains static when the change happens, but they hear it and they can see it moving around them. So they could come in the room and hear all these gears grinding and the walls moving and everything, and come out and things have all been rearranged. And
I'm bumming out now because I didn't jump on the Kickstarter.
Yeah, you still got 24 hours.
Yeah, I
A little
know.
bit of time,
But
but it'll still be wonderful. So
Well, I'll still be able to get it even if I don't get the Kickstarter.
yeah, we're gonna release the books. It just won't be like the special edition sign number perk type stuff. But you will be able to get them after the
Right.
Kickstarter.
We'll see. I'm drooling now because
the maps are amazing.
And that's just the first level. The next level is, I won't give too much away, but the next level is a clockwork dungeon. It's actually the machine itself, and so it's got like a steampunk feel to it. And below that is where you actually meet the Lich Queen herself, and it's her false paradise palace and surrounding grounds. She's basically created, if you remember the movie The Truman Show, where they have a fake world, that's what it is. she's created a fake paradise for herself.
Holy cows.
But things are going horribly wrong, and I won't say why, but things will be pretty dangerous.
Oh, yeah, you just get trapped between a moving piece.
Fair.
So yeah, that's Dungeonlands, and there's some great artists working on it as well. Jason Engel, who is superstar Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons,
Knows
Star
name
Wars.
for Magic for sure.
Jim Pavlik, who's also a Magic the Gathering artist, and he just creates the best monsters. The stuff he's created for this is just incredible. I can't wait to show it off.
What level does it start at?
15 in Pathfinder and heroic level for Savage Worlds. Yeah, it starts at 15, but you have plenty of room to advance, and you're going to need to because the end game is just extremely deadly.
I haven't played higher than an 8th level character in probably 20 years. So
yeah, it's going to be tough. You're going to need to work really hard to defeat the Lich Queen.
that's good because my experience with witches has been lame.
Hopefully we'll make it a good experience for everyone.
And okay, what else are you doing or in the near future?
Well, that's the most recent thing for Savage Mojo.
Yeah, that's most recent.
Right now for Pinnacle, I'm working on Weird Wars Rome, which is for the Weird Wars setting, but ancient Rome and in various time periods. So it's actually generational, so you can do all kinds of interesting things, and you could even play your characters and your characters' descendants and stuff like that.
So like your first character can create a legacy,
right,
and pass it on.
Mm-hmm. That one's currently in layout. I have all the art in, and there's some really amazing stuff for that, and it's currently in layout. Hopefully, I'll get that done soon. That one's been on my plate a little while, but after this show, I kind of have a free play. I've done a whole bunch of shows in a row, and things have been busy, but I have the whole winter to just hibernate and get some work done. So I'm looking forward to working on that.
Hibernation's good.
Yeah, I need to. I got some stuff to catch up on. So,
and you're playing catch up, so you don't have a whole lot of. I mean, it's always weird because like I always ask game designers what their aspirations are and where they want to go or what they see themselves doing in a year from now. A lot of times when I ask artists that, it's like, well, I'm just going to create.
right.
So
That's true.
My dreams are take a nap, rest a little bit, play some games, not work so hard, I guess.
yeah, but it's good when work is play.
Yeah, it's true. But I do put in a whole lot of hours doing this, so, because I'm working for a whole bunch of companies at once, so.
Yeah, you have a lot on your plate.
Yeah.
You have a big plate.
Yeah, very much so.
80 hours a week is not unusual at all, if not more. So.
Yeah, I'm up a lot.
I do that a lot. Well, yeah, I'm what is it? I just lost it. Anyway, I don't sleep.
Yeah. I have, maybe 4 or 5 a night is my usual.
It's getting, I mean, when I was out of shape, well, I'm still out of shape, but I was unhealthy. I had an abscess and it knocked me out pretty badly. Like I didn't know this with the dentist. When he did the root canal, he's like, you were probably near death.
Wow.
Really?
Thanks.
How's that possible?
Yeah, right?
I'm like, it's a tooth. He's like, you don't understand. And then he explained everything, and we won't go into that. But that was back around the time of ANCON, which was like May-ish, June. And I started running right after that again, and I couldn't run a half mile. I'm like, what is this? I know I can do this. And no, I physically could not do it.
That's tough.
Within 2 weeks, though, I was running a mile again.
Oh, so you just need that start to get it moving, and
I had been sick for a really, really long time, and I didn't know it.
oh,
Because I'm dumb, I don't feel pain.
oh yeah,
Which means I may end up being a diabetic, I guess.
yeah.
It's a trait, apparently.
Yeah.
If you have, as a child, if you have a high pain tolerance, which I had, you will probably end up with high blood pressure.
Interesting.
And if you don't feel damage to your feet, odds are you're going to be a diabetic.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. And I really don't feel pain hardly at all.
You're one of those.
I'm one of those guys, like, where in the world did I get that bruise?
I do that all the time.
It's not necessarily a good thing.
Yeah.
Or I know that I had an X-ray done because somebody thought I broke my arm, and they're like, well, you broke your arm, but it was years ago because it's healed.
Oh, interesting.
I'm like, yeah, I've
You
never
probably just kept going.
I've never been in a cast. You know, I don't feel it for like ever. It's just sore. It's really weird. But anyway, off topic. Back to what's your favorite piece of art that you've done?
That I've done.
And then we'll go to what's your favorite piece of art and what draws your inspiration.
I did a piece called Archive of the Paper Angel for the Deliria role-playing game by Phil Briccato, and the concept just spoke to me. She's an angel that has an archive of everything that's ever been written, and when I did it, isn't
That'd
that
be a cool magic card.
Yeah, it would, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
actually.
And
Really cool.
so her wings are made out of pages of ancient manuscripts.
Oh my gosh, what a magic card! Oh, that'd be like a tutor,
Yeah,
an angel tutor. Every time you deal, wow!
And she's beautiful, too. So.
Actually, if you come by my booth, I can show her to you.
Oh, you have her here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah.
What is your not of your art? What is your favorite piece? I know that's a really bad question. To ask someone.
I don't think I could say a favorite piece, but I could tell you the artist that I really like.
Oh, that works.
Inspirations.
Of course, Frank Frazetta. He's the master of high fantasy art. I love Frazetta stuff. Always have. Michael Whalen. He does incredible covers. He's still doing incredible covers. He did the most recent Wheel of Time. They did a sneak peek of it on the Tor website recently, and it's just gorgeous.
So I think it's neat to see like artists and game designers be like, this guy's work is so cool. And most artists and game designers are pretty much that humble. I mean, some have their spots, but you can even talk to them. It's like, but they have these things that are hidden. And there are people that they still look up to.
Oh, absolutely.
That is awesome.
I have a massive list of people whose art I love. Jason Engel. He's the one who actually taught me how to become an illustrator, because he was in Obsidian Studios where I was interning. He was actually the lead artist there. And he moved in with the two of us. We were roommates. So
oh wow, yeah, that's influential.
Right. So he taught me all kinds of things. I watched him do art for hours and hours and hours on end, and that's really how I picked up the tricks that I know.
I have seen the greatest game creation conversations between the two of them, creating worlds,
I can only
the
imagine.
art, the things I have seen, I could never explain to anyone. Amazing creation when you get two amazing people together.
It was a whole lot of fun, and Jason's just so good. He's one of those guys where he just he'll just whip out a sketch and it'll be right the first time, and he did it in 15 minutes, and you're like,
that's
how
insane.
did you do that?
I couldn't imagine stuff like that. I mean,
yeah, very, very, very cool.
But I have I have very little artistic talent.
He used to do amazing sketches while we were watching TV. He'd just be drawing little tiny things
Yes,
on paper.
Stuff like that.
Flip
I can't
the page,
do.
and later on, I would see this little tiny drawing this big turn into this amazing piece of art. And even years later, when I go see him at a booth at Gen Con, he has this amazing piece that I saw once upon his time started as something this big.
I love walking through like the big shows and seeing the artists that start something at the beginning of the show or start while everybody else is setting up their booth.
Yes.
Ed Beard is good at that. He'll start.
Oh, he's good.
He'll have everybody setting up a booth, and he'll start a 4x2 or no, it's probably more like 4x3, and he'll by the end of the show, it's like, oh my gosh, that piece is like done. He's like, I got hours left in this. I'm like,
oh yeah, when you think it's done,
I'm like, I think that's good enough.
I think he's done with a lot of stuff. He's like, no, I got 2 more days on this.
Well,
Hang on.
it's
the little touches that make it perfect.
Yeah, I paint minis, and I'm like, okay, how can you put 12 hours in it? I mean, I paint them, and I don't understand how somebody can put 12 hours in it. I just don't. I get to a point, and I don't see how you can take it any farther.
It's amazing. And he'll take a piece of art on the computer, blow it up huge, and he'll be painting the tiniest little piece of that. And then for me to think it's done and say, I still got 2 more days of this little tiny pieces
you do a lot of digital.
Almost entirely. Sometimes I'll start with like a pencil sketch or and scan it in, but for the most part, I just use my tablet and directly into Photoshop. I also use Art Rage, which is similar to like Painter. I use Painter too, but
do you ever want to go into wish you did some canvas every now and then in your life or something like that?
I have done some canvas, and I do it every once in a while for fun for myself. My brother's a traditional artist, so he does a lot of oil paintings, so the two of us do it together. But not for my work, because digital is so much faster. I can backtrack if I make a mistake. I can save various versions of it. There's so many advantages to modern technology that I can't really see myself doing.
You can't afford either. You can't afford not to
and also that there's that too. So
I think I could even do digital though.
Yeah, digital's great. I
as
love
long
it.
as you spend about 2 weeks on something, it'll be perfect.
Lots of practice.
Forever.
Lots of practice.
Yeah.
It would, yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, for me, it would take 2 weeks. For him, he can do it.
Yeah, my
week,
problem
but-
is I kind of like my proportion. I kind of like twist it like it's going through a wormhole or something. That's what I'm real good at doing that. I could probably create a niche market.
I come out with Picasso, but it's not meant to be that way. That's why he does the art.
I do some 3D models too. I use
that's cool.
Yeah, so you set up 3D model and get your base lighting and stuff down, and then you do an export 2D render of that, and then you paint over the top, and it speeds up the process, and you get certain things right because you already set your light up and everything.
So when are you gonna draw a miniatures line?
I don't know. Jason's done one. He did one a while back.
Really? Which one did he
it's
do?
called Magnificent Egos. It's the company, and they did a whole bunch of custom minis.
Custom. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know they don't do it anymore. They sold the stock to someone, but I'm not sure who. But you might be able to find out through his website or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would like to do some minis at some point, or at least get some of the folks in my studio to design some.
Arnie was here last year. Arnie Swikel.
Oh, cool! Very cool.
And he did some, and that was cool to see some of his. I mean, he had his original renderings here, and I was like,
that's cool.
"Wow, this is really cool stuff." So that was intriguing, and I don't know if he works at Activision now, and it was really cool to talk to him about that. That is really a trip to hear how that. I talked to him for about 2 hours about that whole process. That was really interesting. But back to you. What do you want to see happen in the future?
Well, I'm really happy with how the games are going, but I'd like to branch out and do maybe some comics. I've been a lifelong comic fan, so I would love to do a graphic novel. So you may see something from me in the future with that.
You can always do your own and publish it on DriveThru.
Yeah, sure, good.
You've got a big enough following. I mean, I'm sure you need a writer probably.
He has a
maybe.
unique
style. I do.
Oh, that's right. You did
too,
your own writing too.
But yeah, I've been talking to a few folks, but I can't really say too much about the one I have.
Oh, that's cool though.
And Jason and I have been working on one on and off for a few years now. I'd say since 2000. So we've got a lot of ideas for a nice big graphic novel. But the two of us have so much work, we just haven't had time to put it together.
And a lot of times creative things take time. Like
sure.
I mean, I know I'm creative and I've got stuff I've written down. I've still got all my writing from high school.
Yeah, I keep everything too. You never know. You never know.
The better your brain gets, the more you go back to that and go, "Oh, there's this great thing that I."
I look at him like I wrote this.
It's hard to be creative every day.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to go back through your old stuff and then just try some inspiration.
It's refreshing.
Yeah,
it is refreshing.
So, keep everything.
So, what would you want to share? Well, what would you want to share more than anything with an audience? Ooh, tough question.
Yeah, very tough.
I really try and stump my guys.
That's excellent. It's a tough one.
Ultimately, I think an animated series or an animated movie, that would be the ultimate for me. I'd love to see something from the Suzerain universe, maybe, or Call of Cthulhu. Call of Cthulhu has been great to me for my career. I think I've done Call of Cthulhu work for 7 different companies.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'd love to do something more with that too. That'd be great.
That'd be good. Okay. Well, I think that about wraps it. Oh, where can they find you?
AaronAce.com is my personal site. You could also find me at peginc.com, which is the Pinnacle site, or savagemojo.com, which is Savage Mojo's site.
Any Twitter, Facebook that you want to share?
Yeah, if you hit my AaronAce.com site, you can get me on all social networks, Google+, Twitter, Facebook.
Yeah, I always forget about Google+.
Yeah, hey, I got
even though it's my favorite.
It's a big niche.
There's
nice.
a lot of people, especially for gaming, on Google+.
Well, yeah, because they're leaving the other ones that have gaming. And the ads. I think that's a big thing.
It's funny. I like Google Plus's interface the best out of all of them.
I agree.
But there's still so many more people on Facebook that I use Facebook more than Google Plus, even though I don't. That's the one whose interface I kind of like the least.
Facebook doesn't like my computer. It like really slows it down, and it's got to be all different flash things going.
Yeah, they got a lot.
I mean,
of
my
apps
computer's
going,
not a bad computer. It
Doesn't like that.
it just something between. Maybe it's because it's an AMD Turian, and it just something doesn't talk right.
Interesting.
Maybe I got a virus that I don't know about. But anyway, Matt Lemke with Aaron Acevedo and Jeannie.
Very good.
Ha ha!
You did good.
I was going to say Genie, and then I saw I Dream of Genie bottle, and I'm like, no, that's not right. At Con on the Cob, Hudson, Ohio, 2012. I always have to add the year, and you'll be able to find it. Well, you'll be watching this, so I guess I don't have to tell you where to go. Have a good day. See you next year.
Thanks.
Oh, wait. What's your next con?
I don't know. This is my last con of this year.
You gonna be at Origins next year?
Yeah, I probably will be at Origins.
And you'll be at
I'll
Gen
definitely be at Gen Con. Yeah. So if you want to get me, definitely find me at Gen Con.
There's a small con in upstate New York.
Council of Five Nations, but that's towards the end of the year. So.
Okay, fair.
So undetermined.
Yeah.
Fair.
I'll probably be at least 3 or 4 next year.
I got you beat, sadly. Have a good one.
Thank you.